I'm a computer man. I'm the Macintosh man with the virus scan. Moving your files all across the land. Some Photoshop filters in After Dark. Get your Microsoft Office, express your quark. Millions of colors with a VRAM chip. How about a system crash that'll make you flip? I'm a computer man. I'm saying Windows 95 is plug and pray. If it's fonts you want, you gotta go to MacWay. Log right on as my personal guest. You'll have Macintosh software on your desk. Send me an email with your request. If it's hardware you want, baby, I'm the best. I'm a computer.
Good evening, Casebook listeners. Good evening, Santa Cruz, Monterey, Central Coast, and beyond. My name is Luigi Opito, owner-operator of Pleasure Point Computers, right by the beach here in beautiful Santa Cruz, California. And for the next hour, I'm your tour guide into a world of wonder, magic, information, and a lot of frustration. That's right, we're talking about the internet and the world of computing. I am your computer man. Welcome, one of the most helpful, friendly tech counters you have ever visited. I'd like to welcome you and thank you for tuning into your local radio station, your local KSQD Santa Cruz, KSQT Prunedale, 89.5, 89.7, and 90.7 FM, and always online at ksqd.org, as well as our amazing new app available in the App Store and Google Play stores currently. Grab it, listen in, and actually talk back to us. You can jump on our Vox Pop app part at the bottom of the app, and you can actually send us a message. It's pretty cool. But stoked to be here with you tonight. Welcome to your local radio station. Welcome to your local Tuesday night here in Santa Cruz, and we're going to be talking about computers and all the things that go with it. If you say to yourself at any point, wow, this guy, why is he talking so fast? Why do we talk? I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. But if you need to get the steps down and you missed something because I talked too quick, jump on to ksqd.org and click on our listening tab, which has a 2-week audio archive under there. From there, you can listen to any of our shows from the past 2 weeks and check out anything you missed, including the Computer Man Show or Talk of the Bay or anything from Democracy Now! To any of the shows that we have here, local and beyond. So check out ksqd.org. Of course, hit that beautiful candy-like donate button at the top that helps us exist. If you missed us on the pledge drive last week, we'd love to hear from you this week. Hit that button and give your heart's content. We'd love to make it always a monthly reoccurring thing so we know what's coming in, but we really appreciate you, and it's the only way that we're here is because of you, and we're not beholden to anybody else. So, as I say every week, so all to you, and we wouldn't have it any other way. I wouldn't have it any other way. So if you'd like to reach out to me after the show, you can always hit me up by email, Luigi, Luigi, at ksqd.org. We have our phone number here, 831-900-5773. That's 831-900-KSQD. And we also have our on-air at ksqd.org, which I'm going to be bringing up right here. This is our email here at the station, so if you want to get onto us real quick and just say, hey, what's up, but don't feel like giving a call, that's okay. On air at ksqd.org, and it'll pop up right here. Love to hear it. All right. So let's jump into it and let's go and see what is going on here. All right. We've got everything going on air at ksqd.org. 900-5773 is our phone number. And we're here every Tuesday night from 6 to 7 p.m. And, of course, like I said, our phone number, 900-5773. You've got it. Okay, let's get into it here. Let's talk about some scams first, as I always do, because I hate them. And they're awful, and they're taking and screwing people all over stuff. In fact, when I was coming in, when I was listening to Talk of the Bay, I flipped over and listened to some of the other stations that were coming in as we were going, and there was already a news article about someone else that got taken from. Actually, it was a lot of the political donations. The viable companies, both Act Blue and the Red something, C Red, whatever the red one is, for the Democrats and the Republicans. But there was evidently very shady, shifty things going on to a lot of elderly people when they were giving and donating. They didn't uncheck the box or something, and the unchecked box or the checked box allowed them to take reoccurring donations over and over again and just empty these people's bank accounts, put them into thousands and thousands of dollars of debt, and even just there's scams everywhere, and always, if you can read the fine print. If you're checking a box, do me a favor. I know we're doing, I agree to the terms and services, everything. Usually if it's something really dire, it'll have a separate check box. If those check boxes have less than 2 lines, read them for me, please, just to make sure that you're checking the right box. A lot of times you don't have to check all the boxes. You don't, to get what you need. They're there because they have to. So, The main scam that I actually came in today, that was the one I heard it literally on the way into the studio. But the main one I want to talk about is the AI voices, where someone called this gentleman down in LA. And, this is happening all over the place, but that's an example. They called this gentleman down in LA. It was an AI voice mimicking his son to make the senior think that his loved one was in a horrible accident and needed money to be bailed out of jail. You're like, okay, it's pulling on your heartstrings at that point. And then, so he's like, the guy needs $9,200 as fast as you can if you want your son out of jail. Otherwise, he's in for 45 days, and then the guy, the senior was like, well, I'm not really sure if this is a real lawyer. So he went and reached out to his son, but his son didn't answer the phone. So you're like, okay, so he couldn't confirm there. And then it's crazy. And then then he went to the bank, and the bank, instead of telling the bank, hey, I need all this money for bail, he lied to the bank and said that he was going, what did he say? He was going to a solar panel installation because he didn't want to raise any unwanted questions about the situation. So there were some checks and balances in place, right? There was at the bank. They're trained to ask you questions to engage you, and it's been talked about over the past maybe 5 years how that's really ramped up, about how the tellers are trained to go, wow, doing something fun, and that's all it takes, right? Just something like that. And if someone goes, and if they appear nervous, or if they don't want to answer, or if they're trying to come up with something and they're visibly shaking or lying or any of those things, then it can be kind of brought up and go, hey, you hope you're not being involved with the scam, or everything going okay. I mean, you go to the gift card wall at any reputable store and you'll see a big giant stop sign that says, hey. And it's so common now you don't even see the sign because they're on every gift card wall that this is not a viable payment solution for the IRS or for any of these other things. Apple gift cards do not pay the IRS, right? It's all about that third party transaction. So the money gets out of that second party, gets out of the third party. And as soon as it's in the third party, it can't be retrieved again because it's gone through too many interactions. So this guy was taken for $25,000, but the whole thing was that they used an AI voice that sounded like his son. And I know for a fact in town that the police, I've heard about it. I haven't seen it myself, but I've heard that the Santa Cruz Police Department goes around to our different retirement homes, et cetera, and gives presentations on this exact thing about, hey, there's these things going on right now. You should know about it. Hey, there's this going on as a scam. Watch out for it. If someone calls you and asks you this, if someone says this about, your credit card, your bank account, all these, whatever the current scam is. But it's great that we have that resource. But we can't reach everybody, right? And especially if people get a little embarrassed. I mean, the whole pig butchering thing is really big right now, and that term comes from fattening something up until you're ready to bring it to the end of its time, right? And that's where people get on these relationships, and they get on a relationship online, and they talk for them for months. We're talking long-term relationships, months and months and months. And then they're like, hey, since we've been together for so long, do you want to get in on this investment opportunity that I've been doing? And we could really make a lot of money, could start our lives together, and blah, 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 blah. And they take money until all of a sudden just the account just disappears one day. So, it's sad. It's sad and it's frustrating. And now with AI and the amazing powers of AI, you can do a lot of really weird things. There was an Uber. Someone sent an Uber to come get the money, evidently. It says called the lawyer, told them an Uber would be by shortly to pick up the bail money. And then there was an Uber license plate. I mean, but then after the driver left, there was another phone call from another guy who had identified himself as another lawyer in the son's case and told him a pregnant woman had died and his son's bail had been raised. So the bail was set, and then he sent the money and said, actually, now that there was someone else in there and the bail's up high, you can see where this goes. Just goes and goes and goes. Because as soon as they figure out that they can get money out of you, it seems to be on any of these scams. As soon as they see that you would say, oh, I believe you, then the floodgates open. And they're like, well, let's just take anything and everything we can, every dollar, every second, until they stop, until the person catches on. So it's gross, and it's happening all the time. And I think, as silly as it is, I mean, I can't imagine being in something where you get a phone call from a loved one that sounds exactly like your loved one, saying that they've been in a horrible car accident and everything's going, they need all this money and then everything's happening right now. And for you to then stop and go, I need you to give me your safe word to make sure that you're you. Or what did we do last weekend? Before we continue, or ask questions that would have, and it's crazy, right? You're in the middle of this, oh my gosh, this is a horrible accident. But at the same time, you've got to make sure that this is real. And especially since there's now these crazy scams. So I think the easiest thing, as weird as it would be to have some type of a safe word, a password for the family, a single word that would be weird to say in a normal, sentence structure, but also would be something that the family would know. And then you could prove that. I mean, I don't know. It's just really gross and sad. So, yeah. The other thing that I wanted to, in fact, that was out of there. No, so that was, So the other kind of scammy thing that I kind of wanted to just mention about really too was something that we experienced, that my partner and I experienced just recently. We watch a trash TV show, and the trash TV show goes all over the world, so there's a lot of different languages in it. And I mean trash just because it's kind of just low quality TV. And they when they go around the world, they'll speak in the native language and it's subtitled. And my partner's on Instagram quite a bit, and she said that she all of a sudden started getting. We were watching a show, and the show had a lot of Portuguese. It was taking place in Brazil, and so there's a Portuguese speaking, and there's a lot of Portuguese, speaking while we're reading the subtitles. And she is now getting ads for things that she does online, but they're now coming across in Portuguese. I've had where my friend has come over and he gets on his phone and does like Duolingo for like Japanese and then leaves. And then I will then get ads in Japanese on my services most likely because his app was doing things in Japanese and either saying Japanese out loud or something, and something else was listening, and now the ads are coming through based on my IP address. So, getting ads in other languages based on the TV shows you're watching, it's happening. Your stuff is listening. It's I know tinfoil hat stuff, right? But at the same time, I had that other article. In fact, that one, what was that company? I had it. That was iPhone mirroring. There was a company that actually is shown to listen. Active listening uses a form of artificial intelligence to capture real-time intent data by listening to our conversations. And it's from the Cox Media Group, a TV and radio giant that's one of Facebook's alleged marketing partners. So it's happening. It happens. Facebook listens. They listen to the microphone. It happens. We have proven stuff right here. The active listening software captures voice data from a smartphone device that can then be paired with behavioral data on the individual to further hone in targeted advertisements. Facebook, Amazon, Google, they're all clients of this active listening software, and following the publishing of the report of this 404 Media, Google had removed CMG from its partner program list, evidently. But, who knows? They could be renamed or whatever. So it's happening. It happens. And that's a perfect example right there. I'm like, there's no one in my family that speaks Portuguese. No one in my partner's family that speaks Portuguese. But there we are getting Portuguese ads literally a day or two after we watch TV. And so is that it listening to the TV? Is it seeing and snooping the ads that come across the actual protocol? And then when it's coming across the protocol, I'm actually seeing, or it's seeing what languages are being spoke? Or is it just super simple? While the microphone is just turning on, it listens, it hears the language, and then puts it through an artificial intelligence mux, which then says, oh, this is Portuguese. This house must be Portuguese. Send ads in Portuguese. I don't know. Super weird. Very weird. Okay, let's get on with other things. What else we got here? This is kind of good. So I've got two things from the FCC, or actually one from the FCC, one from the Federal Trade Commission, FTC. The FCC launched a formal inquiry into why broadband data caps are terrible. This is a good thing for you, for me, for everyone. But data caps suck. They suck. You want to get online, you want to do something, you shouldn't have to worry about if it's going to blow up your data cap. What is a data cap? If you don't know what that is, you're fortunate. That's very cool. Data caps are literally a cap to your data, right? If you spend so much data, it stops you. It's the end of your credit card, right? You're maxing out your credit card every month. That's what a data cap is, but it's for your data. When you go online and do a search, that takes data. When you use your Maps, the app on your phone, that takes data. When you go and do anything online that does a query that sends something back to you, that's data. If you turn off your Wi-Fi and use your computer and the things that don't work or the things that don't work all of a sudden, that's a data thing, rather than it being something that's local on the machine that would just function because it's local on the machine. Anything like that would be considered data. So when you're doing that, you're downloading megabytes, gigabytes worth of data. Data caps are a certain level where you can only go up to it, 10 gigs, 50 gigs, 300 gigs, whatever it could be. So some people who have a very small data cap or have a very low-level, entry-level internet access, program, or they're maybe government subsidized or something like that. It might be on a very low data cap. So if you get online accidentally and watch some 4K video that was 2 hours long, conceivably you could blow up a quarter or a third of your entire month's worth of data with one video. The whole thing with the new 5G and 6G and whatever they're coming out with next for cell phones was the data packages that a lot of the cell phones are attached to via the contracts that the people have. So you get into some area like in San Francisco where you have incredible speeds and you click on the wrong thing and you blow up your data cap within seconds because you've downloaded an entire month's worth of data in seconds because you can. So the FCC launched a formal inquiry into why data broadband caps are terrible. And they said that it restricts customers, it cuts off small businesses from their customers, slaps fees on low-income families, prevents people with disabilities from using the tools they rely on to communicate, and they said it's bad. And so they're pushing through a thing that either give clear information labels on their service plans, detailing the additional fees, discounts, and upload and download speeds, or they can actually come under additional fire as they try to restore net neutrality rules. So interesting. But moving on the other side of that, the FTC which is kind of cool, not having to do with data caps, but the Federal Trade Commission is now finalizing their click-to-cancel rule. This is awesome. This is something that I'm sure gym memberships and stuff are shaking in their boots for. But the idea that you have to go through, 19 pages of websites plus a customer service rep and then another 3 pages just to cancel your Amazon account. But to create an Amazon account, there's only 3 pages to do that. That's the whole thing. That's what we're fighting against, right? We want to make sure that if you sign up for something, it's just as easy to cancel it as it is to sign up for it. And that's what the FTC is going to be doing too. So it says, too often businesses make people jump through endless hoops just to cancel a subscription. And the FTC's rule will end those tricks and traps, saving Americans time and money. Nobody should be stuck paying for a service they no longer want. And that's really cool. That's actually something that is fighting for you. So, and it's totally your choice. I mean, there's things probably that I have a $7 membership for, a $3 membership for. I was doing voiceover stuff for a little while. Am I still paying for that? I don't think so, but I might be. And that would be something where if it's hard to cancel, the FTC would theoretically be saying, hey, company, you have 6 months, 180 days past the, what was it? It said 180 days past it's published when it's published in the Federal Register, whatever that is. But if I had that time, then it said, hey, company, you have 180 days to create this software to make it an easier way to cancel. And it just puts power back in your hands. And I like that. So, all right, what other computer stuff can we talk about? Google Chrome's uBlock Origin, their ad block campaign has absolutely, totally 100% begun. Felt it a couple months ago, but now it's official. Chrome has begun to phase out and block uBlock Origin. I actually went to go install it the other day, and the page wouldn't open. And I'm not talking about the Google page. I'm talking about the ad block extension page is no longer there. It's gone. It's no longer supported, it says. Google Chrome is migrating to its Manifest v3, the thing we talked about a couple months ago as well. New extension specifications that could impact the effectiveness of some ad blockers. uBlock Origin has launched uBlock Origin Lite, which uses Manifest v3 in response to the transition. However, if you have to manually install the extension because it's too different to be an automatic replacement. So you have to actually go on and download it as a separate thing. And the Manifest, what that is when they're talking about Manifest v3, it's basically a roadmap that tells the browser all sorts of different information about the different things that are loaded and running inside the browser, like extensions, like reader views or ad blocks or any of that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's good. Adblock is great. There's other ad blocks. I recommend Firefox with uBlock Origin. It still works really well. All right, let's go on. We got a caller coming in. Let's see what's going on in the real world. Hello, you're on with the Computer Man. How can I help you? Do I have you? Oh, I have you on phone A. Let's try this one. Hello, do I have you on there? Hello. Hey, I think I hear you. Oh, if I lost your caller, give me a call back. I pushed the wrong button. Even the Computer Man pushes the wrong button sometimes. Give me this call back, 831-900-5773. That's 831-900-KSQD. I'd love to hear from you. Yeah, so what were we just talking about? Yeah, uBlock Origin. Adblock is very important. If you're on Google Chrome, you can go to getadblock.com. That still works. A lot of it, though, came from blocking ads on YouTube. And YouTube is one of the biggest things that we get ads on and where Google makes a lot of money. They got to pay those YouTubers all that sweet cash, right? So uBlock Origin was really good on Chrome to block YouTube ads. I'm sorry, using my words. And then we would then go to, after that stopped kind of working, you could then go to Firefox and go to uBlock Origin. And if you did that, that would also block the ads. And that worked like a month and a half ago or something like that. I'm not sure if it still does, but it did. So AdBlock is still very important. Get adblock.com if you want to keep on Chrome. Otherwise, uBlock Origin still works on Firefox and all the other ones. Or if you get like a DuckDuckGo browser that has a built-in AdBlock, they don't track you, that kind of stuff. So go a different way, a couple different ways with that. Another thing I want to talk about, Samsung. Android phones. I'm an iPhone user. Been an iPhone user since my Windows phone took a dump back in the iPhone 3 days. I love my Windows phone. My Windows phone was awesome. It did all the things that I think that basically my iPhone did. Had a camera button. It was quick to boot. I could get to my camera really fast. It would read back. It said, "Oh, you got a text message from this person." The text message says, and it would read the text. It's like, "Do you want to reply?" And I'm like, "Oh no, I don't know." And that was all before Siri, all before all that stuff. It was great. But I'm an iPhone user now. And I've worked with a lot of Android phones and Android phone users, et cetera. Had to move people from iPhone to Android, move people from Android to iPhone. So I've got a pretty good grasp of what Android does and what I like and what I don't really like about it. But one of the experiences I had recently with moving a phone over for a client was weird because I had to restart the phone. We installed some software and the phone needed to be restarted. So it's like, you need to restart your phone. And then the prompt went away. Okay, no problem. So I held down the power button, and you hold on the power button and it brings up like, the Android version of Siri, whatever that is, the little talking, ask the AI thing. It's like, okay, well, that's not it. So I thought maybe it was like, holding on the volume up in the power button like it is on an iPhone, or holding up holding the volume down in the power button like it is with an iPhone. And it wasn't. It wouldn't turn off. And I had to actually Google search it. There wasn't anything in the settings. There wasn't a power button. There was nothing else to turn the phone off. I went online and it said I had to, and I could be wrong, but the only way that I could find to turn the phone off was to actually hold on the power button, bring up that Siri-like, AI voice recognition thing, and tell the phone, turn off. And it's like, oh, and it brings up power settings. Would you like to turn off? Would you like to restart? Would you like to do this, that, and the other? And then I could hit the button and say power off. Now, as far as I know, that was the only way that phone was able to turn off. And that was weird to me. I don't know why I didn't like that. I didn't like having the option of having a physical button that turned off. What if I can't speak? I don't need to turn my phone off. What if I'm not really sure many instances when that would be, or why, but that could be whatever, who knows? I'm not sure why they made that an option, but then also Samsung just came out just recently and said that they want all their future phones to have no settings menu at all. No settings menu at all. Like go into the settings cog, like anytime someone calls me and says, "Oh, hey, my phone's doing this," I go, "Okay, let's go to settings," and blah, 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 right? Nope, no settings at all. Samsung wants to work on a new AI feature that will let you use your phone without ever opening the settings menu. It's going to reportedly predict settings you may wish to change based on your usage pattern. I don't think about that. It says it's working on a new AI experience that will let you use your smartphone without ever interacting with the settings menu. The company plans to implement new AI features in its devices that can predict when consumers want in advance by improving the performance of touch points, such as a keyboard and a camera. So the Samsung devices already let you change various settings without opening the settings menu using Bixby. That's the thing. Bixby, that's what it was called. However, this implementation requires users to trigger Bixby and issue a voice command. The AI-powered solution could automatically change settings based on usage patterns. So I don't like that. I don't like that at all. There are times when I go to a certain place, I need to do a test or something, and I need to turn on airplane mode. But maybe some other time I'd be standing in that exact same location. I don't want airplane mode ever to turn on. This is telling me that it's going to start watching my behaviors and start doing things for me without it doing something. So all of a sudden, if I go someplace and I, was trying to be respectful of somebody and I turn off my phone or turn off the settings of my phone so I had no signal and I was listening to their conversation, then the next time I go there, I want to watch the game or something, so I have my phone on, but I can't get my phone on because the settings turned it off because last time I was in the location, I had my Wi-Fi off. So the phone's like, oh, well, last time you were here, you turned it off. So I'm just going to turn it off for you because I'm AI and I learned how you're on your behaviors. And I'm like, well, I don't want to do that this time. And so now you have to actually do an extra step to get back just to where you were because you're in this you're in this location that last time you did something, but now you want to do something different. And that is exhausting. I don't want to deal with that. Now, if I could turn that off as a feature and just use a settings menu, like say, hey, you can use the AI thing, or you can have a settings menu feature. Give me that. Let me try it. Let me see, but don't force me into that. I don't like that, but I'm not a Android user. So the last few minutes here before we go to our halfway break, again, not really political in this show, but important events coming up pretty soon with our election, et cetera. And I've heard a lot about the Republican candidate talking about tariffs. Tariff is, he said, it's the most beautiful word. It's his favorite word. But I'm not really sure if he understands what tariff means. And I just I wanted to make sure that I understood what tariff meant. So I went online and just double checked the definitions and double checked my basic understanding of how tariffs work. And also while I was doing my research on that, I was curious about what that would do to like electronics prices. And our friends over at tomshardware.com, which is a pretty awesome website that has a lot of news and things like that about tech, et cetera. They actually put together a comprehensive guide to what would happen if the Republicans president came into play and the Project 2025 came into play, and the tariffs, what that would do to electronics prices, and gave a sheet about different electronics prices and what they would actually be. And I thought this was really interesting. So just to lame off a few things here before we go to break, speakers and headphones. If you want to buy speakers and headphones based on the locations of where these things are and the cost of goods and the things that are inside them and where, shipping and everything, they then give an increase in consumer price as a percentage and then the average retail cost increase. So for speakers and headphones, it's about 10.9%. That's a pretty big jump, which means that, on average, an average retail cost increase would be about $29 for speakers and about $35 for headphones. So if you're spending $100 on headphones, it could be another $35 or, or $10 or whatever, depending on what it could be. Lithium ion batteries, 12.1%. Desktop computers and televisions, about 9%. So anywhere from $48 to $74. Just something like computer accessories was 10.9%, which would be an average retail increase of about $25. So, and again, this average retail. So, the speakers and headphones, you could buy super expensive headphones, or you could buy cheapo headphones, and of course, it's going to be that, but about 10.9%. The big ones that I saw, the ones that freaked me out, the ones that would affect me the most, were video game consoles, smartphones, and laptops and tablets. Both in my personal life and also in my professional life. Video game consoles would be an increase in consumer price of 39.9%. That means that an average retail increase on a video game console of $246, right? For those of you out there who own a PS5, a PlayStation 5, or even a Nintendo Switch, that's not a cheap item already. And then to add an additional $246, and then you have to pay like tax or whatever on top of that, right? So this is just an increase in the price. Next, there was a smartphone increase of 25.8%, which would increase a smartphone by on average of $213. That's nuts. That's a lot. That's a lot of money. But the worst out of all of them, the worst that I could find was the laptops and the tablets. Now, if you think about an average laptop right now, it's probably about a decent laptop, a decent one with some good storage, and maybe even like plus on a couple things, like two things, maybe a little bit nicer RAM, maybe a little bit more storage, or a little bit nicer screen, or a touch screen, or something, like one or two nice features. Probably about $600 or $700 right now. Of course, they go way up in that. But if you want a decent machine, you're going to be paying minimum about $500, most likely $600 to $700, unless you're getting some deal or a sale or something like that. So, on average, if you're spending that or so, laptops and tablets will be increasing on average 45%, which would translate to approximately $357 extra for a laptop. So, and $201 for a tablet. So that is what a tariff would do to you. So I think that's not good. But and the idea, of course, with that tariff is that, hey, don't buy something from overseas, buy something here. But you can't buy a Samsung TV here because I don't think they have Samsung factories here. You can't buy an LG computer or a HP computer from here. I don't think they have the factories here. So the parts have to come from somewhere else, which then goes underneath the tariff thing. So there we are. All right. Well, we're at the halfway point here of another Computer Man show. That means that it's 6:30. That means Hey, Penelope, I love you. Got to go feed the animals. And we're going to be back in just a moment after we talk with a few amazing underwriters and important things we have going on here at KSQD. So this is KSQD Santa Cruz, KSQT Prunedale, 89.5, 89.7, and 90.7 FM, and online at ksqd.org. We're going to go to a quick break. This will be the Computer Man. We'll be right back.
Hey Squiddies, K-Squid has a new mobile app for iOS and Android. Never go anywhere without your squid. You could win a fabulous K-Squid t-shirt, and here's how. Step 1, download the app to your phone in the App Store or via ksqd.org. Step 2, use the app's Vox Pop function to send us an audio testimonial about why you love K-Squid and community radio. Step 3, first 10 people to send us a testimonial for our pledge drive get a free K-Squid t-shirt. You're a winner regardless because you're listening to K-Squid. Thank you.
My name is Luigi Opido, owner-operator of Pleasure Point Computers and the host of the Computer Man Show, a 1-hour call-in show Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Viruses, slowdowns, scams, and updates. Computers can be a pain, and I'll help you through it.
Send me an email with your request. If it's hardware you want, baby, I'm the best. I'm the computer.
If it has an on switch, we'll probably talk about it on the Computer Man Show Tuesdays at 6 p.m. only on KSQD 90.7 FM Santa Cruz.
Get into a computer. Hi, I'm Bobby Bishop, host of Be in the Night, bringing you the best I can with jazz, love songs, and soul. Join me on Tuesday evenings from 7 to 10 p.m., playing the classics straight ahead and introducing you to the latest artists and composers. That's Tuesday nights from 7 to 10 p.m. right here on listener-supported KSQD 90.7 FM, Santa Cruz.
All right, and that means that jazz is coming up at 7 o'clock, which is amazing because that's the only way I know of to get all this computer nonsense out of your brain. So just stick around for Be in the Night coming up at 7 o'clock. It's going to be awesome, as it always is. And we're back here at the Computer Man Show at KSQD Santa Cruz, K-Squid 90.7 FM, and online at ksqd.org. So, evidently last week, hackers struck the Internet Archive. The Internet Archive is awesome. Internet Archive basically takes a snapshot of all the websites that are out there and lets you go back. Not only do they have there's the Wayback Machine and all that kind of stuff, but the Internet Archive is very important. It keeps people accountable. When you post something silly and then later on said, I didn't say that, I wasn't online with that, I didn't have a website like that, the Internet Archive kind of goes, well, here it is. And you can take for yourself. So, but last week, the hackers struck the Internet Archive, leaking the information of millions of users and defacing it with a message taunting the nonprofit's website for running on a shoestring budget. To prevent further leaks, the Internet Archive's team took the site, including its popular Wayback Machine, also part of it, offline. It's the first time in its 30-year history that it suffered an outage longer than a few hours. And most of the site remains offline almost a week later. It was basically 900 billion web pages that it preserves in the Wayback Machine. It's an archival service, and it's also a rude awakening. The hackers would set their sights on a free repository of digital history, seemingly without an agenda or a ransom. It's like, why kick the cat? Also, there's another Internet Archive in Minecraft right now. It's a Minecraft library, and you're going, why is there a library in Minecraft? You're like, well, if a lot of countries, you can jump on your PlayStation, you can jump on your internet service provider machine of some type and get on and play a game. And when you play that game, you could jump onto a server. Inside that server is something that is hidden that is basically a giant archive or a library of files. And sometimes you can get on there and read something that maybe your country doesn't let you read. Or maybe you can look at something that maybe your country doesn't want you to look at. It's a big open area for free speech and free thought. So very interesting. But the Internet Archive is super important, and it's also just fascinating to see it, and to think that it was just attacked was... It's kind of, I mean, it does. It operates on a shoestring budget. There's hardly anything there, but it's also very well known and important. So it said that there was multiple security breaches. They inserted a message on the archive's main page, bragging they had stolen information from 31 million of its users. And also, Have I Been Pwned, that service that we always talk about, also confirmed that it received a database of email addresses and passwords that verified that they were stolen from the Internet Archive. So, yeah, it's just one of those things that happens. And they said they were trying to fix the vulnerabilities, but they say they have a limited budget of around $20 to $30 million a year. But they still don't know why it was under attack. They didn't say why. There was nothing. There was no ransom demand or anything. But it was just an attack. Said that a hacking group on X claimed responsibility for the denials of service attack, but no one has reliably claimed the defacement and data breach that forced the Internet Archive to sequester itself. So it could have just been someone flexing their digital muscles, they say. So, but we're all in the same library system under the same attacks. We're all still facing these same threats. People want access to the past, and our job is to help deliver it and always be there. So, interesting, weird attack. I mean, it's so weird right now. Everything's so strange. Why attack something that would have an Internet Archive unless you want to destroy the archive to make way for new future history or something? I don't know. Okay, let's get into the email questions here in the last 20 or so minutes. I've got a nice, fresh packet of awesome email questions. If you have a question, comment, concern, give us a call, 831-900-5773. If you have a question I haven't gotten to yet, love to hear about that too. 831-900-5773. Let's see what we've got here. All right. Let's see. Okay, self-built PC doesn't work. I recently built my first PC. Congratulations. It's always encourage people to build their first computer. It's easier than ever. It does cost a little bit more than going out and buying a pre-built, but at the same time, you learn a lot. You learn about electronics. You learn about how things go, and then when something doesn't work, you kind of already know what stuff's in there because you built it. So I think it's super cool, and I'm always willing to help out people build their new machines because there's a lot of unknowns. And if you had somebody there just to watch you, you wouldn't blow up 20 or 30 motherboards like I did when I was like 13. So yeah. Let's see. I have a problem. It doesn't really work. It turns on, but when I start certain applications on my PC, my PC crashes and I get a blue screen error. Okay, we'll come back to that. So first of all, it sounds like the machine was running, it's booting, it's turning on, which means all the components, it's passed its power on self-test, its post-test, or its post-beep, it's past that, power on self-test. It's gone through all the process and you're at a desktop and you're running things, but then there's an issue. So you're 99% there, what else is going on, right? For instance, I have Windows 11 installed. In the installation, I had a problem that my CPU didn't have the Wi-Fi driver and I couldn't install it on the first try. I had to cut the power because I was stuck at the screen where you needed to choose a Wi-Fi. After that, I had many errors just trying to install Windows 11 until I finally could skip the screen where you needed to choose a Wi-Fi. After it worked, I installed every driver and updated Windows, but I think I broke something. Now I can't even install Windows 11 again. When I try, it just crashes and the PC restarts to the state it was in before. Any ideas how to fix it? Did I break some hardware or is it a software problem? Okay, so if you were to go on that machine and pull the hard drive out, put a brand new hard drive blank, start loading Windows 11, you probably would still have the same issues, which leads me to think that it's not a software problem. It's almost definitely a hardware problem. But what hardware? Is it the power supply? No. CPU? No. Motherboard? Probably not. Is it the hard drive? No, we just replaced it. So what else is there? RAM. If you have a machine that's running, and it's running the way that it was, and then you launch something and it dies when you launch it, a lot of times when you're launching something, it's putting things into memory and memory allocation tables. Those memory allocation tables reside in the RAM. And if one of those pins isn't seated properly, if you have wrong voltages or something isn't talking correctly, all it's going to do is stop. It's going to give you a big old blue screen saying, hey, I don't know what the heck happened. All the bus, everything, all the information stops flowing on the board and everything shuts down. Gives you a screen, says what happens next, and turns off the machine. So I think most likely that you have, I'd be curious to see how many sticks of RAM you have. Most likely you have more than one. I would pull all your sticks of memory out and put one in. And then I would try running the machine and see if it's stable. If it's stable and it doesn't blue screen, it's a RAM issue. And at that point, then you got to either switch your slots or see if your RAM is under voltage or doing something at that point. Then we could attack it at that point. But almost definitely it's your RAM. And you can test it because most likely you have more than one stick. Pull the one stick out, try it in the different slots, try the second stick in the different slots, see if you still get a blue screen, just trial and error. And there's one of the more pesky things to kind of figure out, but most likely it's RAM, especially if you're having it do this. Now, with installing Windows 11 again, that's where it's just crashing and the PC restarts. It most likely is RAM because if you don't have any software running at that point at all, there's nothing unless you somehow corrupted your installer or something. But This main thing would just be the machine just restarting over and over again. Most likely it's because of your RAM. I would just if anything, the first thing you could do is just pop the sticks out, put them right back in. I do that all the time to machines that come into the shop. They've been jostled or they've been moved or it's got hot and cold, and that heating and cooling actually separated the connection on one of the pins. Could be 256 pins in there per stick of RAM. So one pin gone could cause an issue. And so there's a lot of possibilities for errors. So check with the RAM. That's what I'd start with first. Let's see. Okay, is Trojan malware 300983 susgen, is it bad? I recently wanted to download software for my guitar pedal, as I usually do, I ran the zip file through VirusTotal. The results showed that it contained malware, Trojan malware 300983 susgen. I searched online and many users talk about it being a false positive. Should I proceed with the installation without worry? I don't have many options, to be honest. I'm not an expert when it comes to malware. I'm just open to suggestions. Okay, so if a lot of people online are saying it's a false positive, it most likely is. There's not going to be some malware company out there that's writing the malware that's then also putting forum posts out there. The software's fine, just do it. Go ahead, no worries. Oh, I got you, got another one type thing. It's not going to happen. So it's most likely, if it's coming up as a false positive, it probably has something that has the same virus definition size or has the same file structure or something as something that has been flagged as a positive. And so it's seeing that, thinking that it is a positive when actually it's not. So actually went back to this person and it was actually a false positive. This says at first they got a Windows alert, but then they read it often happens with unknown files. The person installed it anyway because they didn't hear back, and then they made sure everything was clean, and turns out no malware, and everything worked. So that's just one of those things. It could be something there's not a digital signature on the file. That's expensive. It costs money for software companies to do that stuff. And sometimes with something when they're like, hey, I made a guitar pedal, and we spent all our money on R&D on the actual pedal, and now we have to have some software, and we don't have money to do the digital signing. Just put the software out, just put the zip file out there, and let Windows deal with it. It's not malicious. But then it comes up as malicious, and so you go, people will deal with it. We'll post a forum online thing saying that it's okay, and you'll be fine. So, and that's kind of how it rolls a lot of times. So, it came up Trojan malware. Trojans are usually viruses too, so there's not really. I don't think I've really seen a Trojan malware by definition, but I guess I could. But I think Trojans most likely are viruses by their definition. Anyway, whatever. Let's see. Next question. Can my work see what I search on Hotspot? Okay, 2 questions. 1, I have my work computer connected to my work Wi-Fi. Okay, work computer on work Wi-Fi. If I enable a hotspot on my work computer and I connect it to my personal phone through the hotspot on my work computer, can my phone history and data be traced by my company? Okay. Second question. If I turn on my personal phone's hotspot and connect it to my work computer instead of using my work Wi-Fi, will the information on my work computer still be able to get traced? Okay, so the first one, if you're asking if the company can see your phone history and its data because it's connected, if that's the case, no, it can't see that. Jumping on your phone, if you're on your phone and you're on the company Wi-Fi and you start looking at a bunch of black market stuff and adult stuff and all that kind of stuff, theoretically you're on the company Wi-Fi, therefore you're using their servers, therefore you're using their ad blockers and all that kind of stuff that's on their servers and also their content filters. And if you do a lot of stuff that might get flagged, so that would be able to be seen. On the second option that you're saying, if you turn your personal phone's hotspot on, so you're using your phone's internet connection, which is through your personal phone you're paying personally, and then you take your work computer and use that connection, can they see it? Yes, it's your work computer. It's a work computer. They have control of that. They have connections to that. Yes, they absolutely can see that. But if I were to walk into I have my laptop that I've had for 2 or 3 years, and I walk into a job interview, and I sit down at the job interview, and I sign on to their company Wi-Fi. I don't go online or anything. I just sign on to the company Wi-Fi. The company Wi-Fi, by linking like that, does not go on to my computer and upload all my history to that server, right? That doesn't make any sense. I have a history on my computer, but that history is basically logged with the IP address of where I was, which was either at my home or my work or anywhere else besides this new place I've just come to turn on my computer. Same way if you go to a coffee shop. If you were just 20 minutes ago at home doing a whole bunch of nefarious stuff on your computer, you shut all that down, you go to the coffee shop, open up your computer, and do normal things on Google and do normal things on Facebook and just do normal things, those are the things that are going to be showing up on the history of the actual coffee shop. They're not going to be scanning in the past and bringing that stuff forward, and that's part of your history now at the coffee shop. And that makes sense when we explain it like that, I think. But your question also is a valid one. It's one of those, like, I'm not really sure what they see. So it's basically going into your work, sitting down at work, signing onto their Wi-Fi with their computer, and then looking at a whole bunch of adult stuff and waiting to get fired. That's what it is. So don't do that. Okay. Windows 11 keeps killing itself with this stupid driver. I just did a fresh install on Windows 11 on my PC. A couple minutes after starting updates, I get a blue screen. Because of the error code, I've deduced that it's caused by the driver. I have underlined this picture. I sent a picture. Whenever the PC restarts, Windows Update keeps trying to install it, and as a result, I keep getting the same blue screen. How can I stop Windows from trying to install this stupid driver that's messed up? That's not the words I used. Every time I boot my PC. And I found out that it was a dual band AC wireless 7265. Shocking. I have had more problems in the past 2 weeks with Intel-based AC wireless drivers from Microsoft, from Windows. They are killing the Wi-Fi drivers. They're killing the Wi-Fi cards. People are doing these downloads. They're getting an update. Their Wi-Fi dies, and their computer is now an island. They can't get online to go look and see what happened. They can't do anything. The computer turned just completely dead. I had a house call I had to go to that I went to. The gentleman's got a brand new machine, solid-state drive cloned over and everything, got home, and his Wi-Fi died. I got in there, found out that the driver, that Windows had replaced the driver. I then replaced the driver, fixed it, and told him, hey, this is what's going on. And the machine processed a Windows update and killed the driver again. And it's something to do with these 7265s. And it's the best thing you can do is to go to the Wi-Fi card manufacturer, if you can, and download their driver. When you do that, it will then supersede, or it should have a later date, a more current date. And Windows Update will see that date and go, oh, my driver's older, and not install it. Theoretically, that should be it, if you can find the latest driver. If you can't, then what you've got to do is you've got to pause your Windows updates for a while, or know that next time you're going to do your update, it's going to do exactly that, and have the driver ready to uninstall on the Wi-Fi and reinstall the correct one. It's silly and stupid, but this is where we are, especially with Windows 11, which is garbage. Garbage. I don't like Windows 11 very much. Okay. Let's see. Next thing here. What have we got? Okay. Help with a power surge. So my 720p HD LED HDR television set, did you get all that? So it's a 720p for the settings, HD, high definition. It's an LED, so it's LED lit. It's not a plasma screen or anything like that. HDR is high definition range, high definition, and TV, television. So not too much. But it says the TV won't turn on. For that past 2 weeks, I was without power. Today they fixed the power, but I didn't unplug my TV because I didn't know that I had to do that. And now my TV won't turn on, and I'm not sure what to do. I've turned it off and turned it on again repeatedly, but I can't afford to get a new one. Please tell me anything that might be helpful. Okay, so this TV has about a $55 power board you can go buy. I did a quick eBay search of a W830K. That's the model number that you gave me. And there's a power board for it. Most likely your power board's died. My television set, my Vizio television set that I bought in 2012 is on its fifth power board. Fifth power board? I think it's on its fifth power board. They let go. They die. I go and buy another one for $40. I take off the back of the TV. I lay down the TV on the kitchen table, take off the 25 screws. The whole back just comes off, and there's 3 main boards. And the main board that has the giant plug that you plug into the wall, that's your power board. Take that guy out. There's like 4 plugs with 2 screws. Put the new one in. 4 plugs, 2 screws. Put the backing back on. Turn it on. Boop. TV's back for another couple of years. Most likely that's what it was. And brownouts are one of the worst things. We always talk about these power surges and stuff, but brownouts are just as bad. And that's an undervoltage. That's where the machine is expecting to get 120 volts. It's expecting to get that so that everything can be working properly. And by undervolting, it's like kind of like taking a really strong, like really taut wire and starting to shake it so you get that harmonic in it. And it just shakes and shakes and shakes. And if you do it enough, it can break apart other things that's holding onto it, and everything that's rigid. And that's kind of how the electricity works too. If you have noisy power, or bad power, or brownouts, or power surges, they can kind of disrupt the pathways of electricity on that basic level, and they like the electron level. So I would say most likely it's your power board. If you can, buy one that has a return policy and get the power board, plug it in. You won't know until you do that. And if the power board isn't it, then you can put it back in the box, and return it if you need to. And then at that point, then you'll know you probably need a new TV, because there's not much in these TVs anymore. There's a power board, there's a digital chrominance board. Usually there's something like a 3D YC digital chrome filter board or something, or it's just there's a luminance board for the light. There's a processing board for the digital output of the screen, and then there's usually a power board to drive everything. And that's a lot of times all that is when you pull off the back of these TVs. So should be pretty straightforward and pretty easy to fix. I invite you to try, or at least look up someone online. There's probably a video of someone taking your exact TV apart, and you'll know exactly what to do before you even get started. Okay. This one, Apple claims I didn't turn in my old phone. So I went in person and picked up the 16 Pro the day after launch through the iPhone upgrade program. It was an odd experience I've never had at an Apple store. They literally sent me to the back to do the setup by myself. So, you know how to do this, right? I got to go back up front. And they just let this person go back out there. Told me to find a worker to hand over my old iPhone to when I was done. So I did. Last week, I received an email that they've never received my iPhone 15. So I immediately called and explained exactly what we just talked about. They said they would start an investigation and get back to me. Today, I got an email confirming that I never turned in my iPhone 15. I'm wondering what to do. Obviously, I'm going to call again, but I suppose my only proof would be the security cameras. How else can I prove that I don't have the phone? So this is a weird one. This is hardly a computer question, but I thought I'd just put it out there because it's so important on a lot of things. I told, go back to the store. Go back. See if that person's working. If it's the same day, hopefully that the person's still working, that you handed it to them. Go back. Go back to the store and ask. And they did. And they went to the store and the phone was still there. It was in the we don't know what the heck this is device bin. So there was someone had it, didn't know what it was, put it in the bin, and there it was. So the worker who would process the upgrade had processed it as a Verizon upgrade instead of an iUp upgrade, which is the Apple upgrade, which caused the phone to be lost in the system, but now it's resolved. So walk back in, right? Walk back in. Okay. This is one, let's see, we could talk. Yeah, let's talk about this one. We might bring it all the way to the end of the show. Let's talk about it. It says, but I really like this one as well. This is something that I've actually had to set up for a couple people, and I think it's a great thing. And we can go a couple different ways with it. So remote controlling a TV of my grandma with dementia. Okay, so it says, my grandma Stanley was diagnosed with dementia last year. She loves following multiple TV shows that are on at different times on different channels, but she's sadly not able to use her remote anymore. We only live about 10 minutes away, but it's getting very tough to come by 5 times a day to change the channel for her or exit a menu she accidentally opened. Would there be a way for me to remotely control her TV from my own house so she can watch the show that she likes? She just has a normal Android smart TV. Any tips or suggestions are greatly appreciated. Most TVs now are Android smart TVs, but most TVs just use a standard IR blaster, right? Standard infrared signal from a remote control to the television set, like we've been using, for 40 plus years or so now, or 30 plus years. It doesn't matter. Okay, so I had the idea. There's a couple different ways. First, I thought the easiest way was to go over and physically. First of all, I would buy a second remote for yourself, and anytime you go over there, you carry your remote with you. But her remote, open the remote up and physically take the buttons out. Physically remove the menu button. Physically remove all the buttons except for channel up, channel down, volume up, volume down, and power. Just remove all of them. Just take them out so she can scan through, and she won't be able to hit a menu button or any of that kind of stuff. And if she does need to have some type of change like that, you can come over with your remote and go through the menus and do that kind of stuff. That would be probably the easiest thing. If she's completely unable to use just a standard remote at all, then what you can do is there's I also had the idea of getting a desktop computer, hooking the desktop computer up to the television screen, and then anytime she wants to watch something, she gives you a call, and you can just literally jump on remotely to the computer and start up a program, start up a movie, start up Netflix, something like that, because you're moving the screen around in front of her. But again, that's reliant on you. That's kind of a big thing that you have to do. The other thing would be the best thing to do would be to get a Broadlink IR emitter. Connects to Wi-Fi, and then there's an app that you can use. So literally you can get this IR emitter, put it in front of the television set, in front of the receiver that's on the television, and then you load the app up and get everything set up on her Wi-Fi. If she has internet, I assume she has internet. I assume that she's going to have some type of internet connection because you're watching things on some type of Wi-Fi, I think. But then you connect that to Wi-Fi, you use the app. There's some pre-programmed devices in there, but you can add her television set. And then you can also learn custom codes from the TV remote. So you can send it a code and it'll learn it. Send it a code and it'll learn it if you're on some weird television that doesn't have it in its database. That way, you could literally use the app and change, she still has her remote or still has that remote that we've stripped all the buttons out of. You give her that, she can use it. If she gets stuck, you can then jump on your phone real quick and do the remotes from anywhere in the world. Press the volume up. Oh, the TV's too loud. The TV's too quiet. I need to go to another channel. You would then be able to do that if she would be able to communicate that to you. It's a great idea. I think it's. I'm not saying that my idea is a great idea. I think the product is a great thing. I have a lot of elderly clients, and I've installed something like this on 2 different clients for their families so that they could have more control and be able to watch the things that they want and just bring a little bit of joy into their lives. And that's all it's about, right? Just making sure that people are comfortable and that our loved ones are taken care of and that they're just comfortable and happy. So, but I also think that a combination of having your own remote, having the remote removed with all the buttons all removed, and then also getting this IR emitter. It's not expensive. It's under $50 for the entire setup, including the app and everything. So you can. I think right now you could probably get one even less expensive for that. But it'd be a great way to get connected and also make sure that she has everything that she needs. So. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, we have done it again. We reached the end of another Computer Man show. If I missed your call tonight, you can always reach me by email, Luigi, Luigi, at ksqd.org. But remember, tune into the Computer Man show Tuesday nights from 6 to 7 p.m. here on 90.7 FM, K-Squid, KSQD. I'd like to thank all my listeners and my callers. Thank you, KSQD, Sandy Stone, Harold Fitzstein, Reggie Gibbering, Debbie Gibbering, John Sanders, all of Santa Cruz, Nicholas Tesla, the Waz, Mr. Gates, and Trollvotes, of course, the humble Electron. Thank you again, Santa Cruz. I'm your Computer Man here on K-Squid, KSQD 90.7 FM, and online at ksqd.org. Stay tuned right here for Be in the Night. I hope you all have a positively charged evening. Until next time.
I am the computer man. I can do anything you can. I am the computer man. I can do anything you can. Computer man, he is your friend. He gonna help you again and again. So if you have a question or two, he's got the answer just for you. I am the computer man, and I am ready for questions now, thank you.
Mr. Computer Man, how much is 2 plus 2?
4.
Mr. Computer Man, how do you spell cat?
C-A-T.
Mr. Computer Man, how do you spell supercalifragilisticexpialidocious?
With letters. I am the computer man. I can do anything you can. I am the computer man. I can do anything you can. Computer man is very wise. He speaks the truth, he never lies. So if there's something you don't understand, just ask the computer man.
Hi, Mr. Computer Man. My name is Jenny. I have a question for you.
Wait, Jenny does not compute. What is your number, please?
Number? I don't have a number. I'm a person.
A person? A person? Amazing! I am the computer man. I can do anything you can. I am the computer man. I can do anything you can.
What is 9,900?